with our second bout tonight, 4-round super welterweights, making his way to the ring first. Fighting into the blue corner from Riverside, it's his professional debut, Cameron Christopher.
And there is Cameron Christopher making his professional debut. And Doug, we have to be honest with our audience. We don't know much about him.
No, you know, the information materials that I received about a week ago misspelled his first name as Camerson.
Yeah.
So I was searching under Camerson. I came up with nothing. But something tells me there's not a whole lot out there on Cameron Christopher either. You know, he looks like a decent athlete. You know, just looking at him at the weigh-in, looking at his body right now and his his physique, his bone structure. And I tell you what, I love his nickname, El Toro Negro. I like that. I like this guy's nickname too, Triple V.
Yes, and he's in the red corner, and that is Jerry Whiteboy Rosenberg.
Oh, the Jewish bomber, get out of here.
Yes.
All right, I like that.
You know you've arrived when he's in your corner.
Yeah, I'm already rooting for the kid.
He last fought June 17th at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel, winning a 4-round decision over Fernando Hernandez to run his record to 1-0. So this is our second bout of the night here on Hollywood Fight Night.
Vardanyan is a guy I've heard of because he was a decent amateur. I think he had a little over 60 amateur bouts, only lost to like the really elite or top U.S. amateur standouts.
All right, so both fighters are in the ring. Let's send it up to Jolton Joe Martinez.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout's scheduled for 4 rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing solid black trunks tonight. He weighed in 154 pounds even. Tonight, he makes his professional debut and joins us from Riverside, California. Here is El Toro Negro, Cameron Christopher! And across the ring stands his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing black trimmed in yellow, he weighed in 153 and 1/2 pounds. In his second professional fight, he looks to remain perfect with his second victory from Panama City, California. Here is Triple V, Vardges Vardanyan! Age referee in charge of the action is Vardanyan.
Let's look at this tail of the tape. Vardanyan, the younger man at 23 years old. Their height is equal. And it's Christopher with a very slight reach advantage.
So we begin round number 1, and immediately you notice that Vardanyan is a southpaw.
He is an aggressive southpaw.
In fact, both of them are. We have a battle of lefties here. 4 rounds in the super welterweight division, and already Vardanyan seems to be playing the role of the aggressor, coming forward, and whoa, both men letting their hands fly.
And Vardanyan is all about volume. He's all about aggression. He's about closing that distance and imposing his will on his opponents. Some of his favorite boxers include Pernell Whitaker and Floyd Mayweather. But while he likes those defensive wizards, he says the most important aspect of boxing is power. He says if you got power, that trumps technique and anything else. Because once you hurt a man, all of that ring savvy goes out of the window, or so he believes. Do you know why it's been 13 months since his last fight? In his pro debut, he suffered a back injury. Had like a swollen disc or something like that. So he was out for a good 6 months.
Well, Doug, he certainly doesn't seem shy as he lands a 1-2 right down the middle on Christopher.
I don't see any ring rust. Although he is a little bit over anxious. I think he's overcommitting just a bit. But so far, Christopher hasn't made him regret that. And Christopher was hurt by that left.
Good left hand seems to shake Christopher from Vardanyan. Vardanyan, as the old timers would say, fighting as if he's double parked as he digs a right hook to the body. Now Christopher trying to turn the tide. It's Vardanyan with his back to the rope.
And Christopher showing some character here, because Christopher has been stunned already in this opening round. He's covering up well, but he can't afford to take too many body shots, and he can't afford to have his arms beat down. Christopher needs to uncork that left. He's just putting the right hand out there.
Well, Doug, you just wonder, does Christopher have something in the back pocket that's going to make Vardanyan think about just walking in the front door so unfettered?
Yeah, that's what Christopher needs. He needs to earn a little bit of respect here. Maybe he's hoping that Triple V tires himself out. That's possible, but in the meantime, Christopher's taken a lot of punishment in this first round. He's definitely lost it.
So a frenetic pace set here in round number 1 of this 4-round battle. Vardanyan off to a quick start against the game, Cameron Christopher. Clark Sherman checks in and says, fun first round here on Hollywood Fight Night. Oh, and by the way, our security blanket from Philadelphia who watches every fight, Linus SQ, a free app, the way God intended the internet to be, I will note. I think taking a shot at a certain network and promoter. He's been very steadfast in that message.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, good friend Fernando Barbosa of Barbosa Box, watching y'all live in Madrid with huge jet lag.
Wow.
Viva, Fernando. Viva.
No geo-blocking, Steve. We're international.
All right, we begin round number 2 here, Vardanyan and Christopher. And Doug, let's see if Vardanyan can keep up this frenetic pace he set in round number 1. He certainly swarmed Christopher with his activity.
Yeah, he won the opening frame with sheer volume and aggression. But I'd like to see him settle down a little bit and show us some of that amateur pedigree that he has. And he's kind of doing that now with the jab, showing us he can box from a distance. And he'll get more leverage on his punches from mid-range and long range than he is chest to chest with Christopher.
You know, I give Christopher credit, though, although he's been on the defensive and mostly on the back foot. One thing he's shown technically and fundamentally, he's a pretty solid guy. He knows how to defend himself.
Yeah, he's got good balance, too. But you got to fight back. You got to throw some punches. And he's kept that left hand on layaway. I don't quite understand that, because from where I'm sitting, it looks like Triple V is open for that shot.
Oh, good counter right hook by Vardanyan. That seems to buzz Christopher.
Yeah, Vardanyan was looking for that. And the thing is Christopher's just throwing the right jab. So it was a matter of time until he would time him with the counter shot over that punch.
And a good left to the body by Vardanyan. Saying one thing about Vardanyan, I don't know how far he's going to go, but he certainly has a crowd-pleasing style, Doug.
Yes, he does.
Kind of reminds me of another junior middleweight hopeful that we've seen a couple of times, Sergey Boachuk. He certainly made his mark here at the Avalon last couple of outings.
Yeah, they're both all about aggression. Boachuk, obviously, a little bit more mature, a little more polished. Of course, Boachuk has more pro experience.
And Boachuk, from my understanding, is going to come back September 8th on the Superfly undercard at the Forum. Fought recently in Russia on the Usyk Gassiev undercard, scoring a knockout.
Another reason to go to that show. Now, that's a nice right hook from Vardanyan. Vardanyan is pacing himself more. I do think that Vardanyan came out of the gate a little bit quicker than he had meant to. I think he's feeling the burn of fatigue a little bit earlier in this bout than he would like to. But he's boxing well from the outside and from mid-range.
Oh, now Vardanyan is cut on the right eye, so they're going to have to get to work in that corner. But a quick start for Vardanyan, who has won the first 2 rounds of the scheduled 4-rounder. And there you see Cameron Christopher, who interestingly is not sitting on a stool, on his feet, as we're about to begin round number 3. And you'd have to figure, Doug, it's 2-0 Vardanyan halfway through.
That's how I have it. He won the first round with pressure and aggression and volume punching, and he won the second round without as much pressure. Won the second round with his jab and counter punching. However, Christopher's face is clean. There's no abrasions, there's no cuts. Vardanyan is cut on his right eyelid, which is not a good place to sustain a cut.
That's a good experience for Vardanyan. The one thing about Christopher, he's not providing a lot offensively, but again, technically, he's very competent. I think he's giving Vardanyan some really valuable rounds here. Question's going to be for Vardanyan moving into the future as he gets to, let's say, 6, 8, 10 rounds. As he moves up the ladder, can he keep up this sustained, frenetic pace over the long haul?
Conditioning is going to be very important for Vardanyan if he wants that style. But he's showing us here in rounds 2 and so far in round 3, there's more to his game than pressure. There's more to his game than offense. There is some head and upper body movement. We're seeing that right now. And he does have a nice hard jab.
Good 1-2 by Vardanyan. Vardanyan pouring it on. Christopher in the red corner, having another tough go, but here in round number 3.
Christopher starting to show some swelling around his left eye.
Uppercut right up the middle from Vardanyan.
Well, I'd love just to see a classic 1-2 from Christopher. He's got the longer arms. He's got his feet planted under him. Just needs to plant them long enough to drop that classic combination. There we go. There you go, Christopher. Give Vardanyan something to think about as he marches in. Does Vardanyan seem tired to you, Steve?
Well, I think he's certainly slowed the pace. It's been a little bit more of a measured attack here in round number 3.
Yeah,
but again, give Christopher credit. He's certainly been durable.
He's hanging in there.
He showed some stick-to-itiveness here in this fight.
He's got that. He just needs a little bit more activity. I think there's blood from the nose or mouth of Christopher. And he's eating some very hard jabs and straight lefts from Vardanyan.
Oh, good 1-2 by Vardanyan.
Christopher might have been stunned.
Vardanyan pouring it on here at the end of the 3rd. Christopher in a bit of trouble here. But he'll make it to round number 4.
Let's look at some highlights from round 3. We're seeing some 1-2 combinations from Vardanyan, backing Christopher from the ropes, measuring him for his straight left. And there's the left in action. There was a jab left. There was a 1-2 combination from Vardanyan. Some nice left cross and right hooks from the Armenian American.
And visit 360 Promotions on www.360promotions.us and you take a look at the rest of their social media platforms. So we head into round number 4 here of our second bout of the evening on Hollywood Fight Nights from the Avalon. Vardges Vardanyan has built a significant lead over the game Cameron Christopher as we head into the 4th and final frame.
This is the 4th and final round.
All right, and they touch him up here. Round number 4 begins with Vardanyan and Christopher. Oh, there's a good right hook by Christopher. Probably the best punch he's landed. And Doug, you're right. That left eye of Christopher, there is significant swelling now.
It began in round 3 at the start of the round, and it got worse as the round progressed. And I guess there wasn't a whole lot that his corner could do, but this is the last round.
Yeah, Vardanyan certainly stepping on the front foot. He's not going into the 4 corners. He seems to have the body language of a guy that wants to score a stoppage here in his second professional bout.
Yeah, I think he wants that. I believe that's a goal of Vardanyan. Vardanyan's cut has been controlled by his corner. Christopher hasn't made it a target, I don't believe. So it hasn't been bleeding into his eye. It hasn't gotten worse. So that's good news for Triple V. That's a nice jab from Vardanyan. I do believe Vardanyan has battled fatigue in the later part of round 2 and throughout round 3, but he's dealt with it very well. And he did it by kind of measuring his attack a little bit more, mixing in more defense, operating from a distance as opposed to applying a hard pressure. But he's still been able to land quality punches and inflict punishment on his opponent.
Give Christopher credit. He has certainly been game and tough here. Taking a shellacking here since round number 1, but he's hung in there. And he is 50 seconds away from seeing the final bell of what's been a very tough night for him thus far.
Yeah, I think Christopher is going to lose his pro debut, but I believe he has some potential as a professional.
Or Doug,
I wouldn't advise him to hang up the gloves.
or at the very least, be a guy that the matchmakers are gonna have his name on the Rolodex because he's gonna give you rounds.
Absolutely.
Guys like this are very valuable for the developmental process of young boxers. And that's it, and we're going to go to the scorecard. Vardges Vardanyan set a quick pace, and he didn't really let up. And a lot of credit to Cameron Christopher, who survived the onslaught for 12 minutes, and we go to the scorecard.
I got a clean sweep for Vardges, but I thought Christopher made him work. Even though it was a shutout, I thought that Christopher made Triple V work for this victory. And I definitely want to see more of Vardanyan.
And pointing at us is noted manager and boxing lawyer Harry Kazanjian. Now, if there's any Armenian boxer worth anything in Southern California? Chances are Harry represents him.
Yeah, well, I think Harry's got a winner with him right here. I think Vardanyan has a crowd-pleasing style, a fan-friendly mentality, and if you haven't heard him interviewed yet, he's also a very good interview.
And there is Cameron Christopher, who certainly should be lauded for his toughness. I think a lot of guys would have folded under that pressure of Vardanyan. He actually saw the distance. All right, scorecards have been added up. Let's send it up to Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all three agree 40-36. Your winner by unanimous decision. He is still undefeated, Triple P, Vardges Vardanyan.
So Triple V runs his record to 2-0 with an entertaining, crowd-pleasing performance, defeating Cameron Christopher over 4 rounds, and certainly a guy that looks to have a bit of a future here in the sport of boxing. So that was our second bout of the night. Once again, we're here at the historic Avalon in Hollywood, California. 360 Promotions presents the 3rd edition of Hollywood Fight Nights.